Hi guys, welcome back to the James Bond Show. I'm your host, Krazy Kajeevie, and I'm back with another Dissecting the Directing, and this time we're doing Die Another Day's Bond meets Jinx scene. Now I wanted to do a scene that I wasn't super fond of, so I had to pick this scene. It is a doozy. I'm going to dissect it. Can't get that word out tonight. Going to dissect it. Let's have a look, and in the comments below, leave me a note of what you think about this dissecting. Did I get it right? And also what you think of the scene, what you would have done differently in the scene. I'd love to read that, and I read all the comments and I try to respond back to as many as I can. And also let me know what scene you would like me to dissect next. Also, what I'm going to do in the information section below, I'm going to leave a link to Safe House. Now, Safe House is an award-winning short film I directed back at the end of 2007. I took it to the Cannes Film Festival over in France in 2008, just prior to going to Cannes with it. It won the Margaret River International Film Festival. It got into a New York Film Festival as well. Yeah, it did well. It won some film awards and got into lots of film festivals. So there you go, guys. I will show you a bit of my work, and then you can see why I think it's adequate. I dissect other directors directing. Now, this is directed by Lee Tamahori. He did a brilliant film, a cult film called Once Were Warriors in his homeland of New Zealand, and it was a big hit, and it was a big hit in Australia as well. And it also won a lot of awards, and it got him a lot of notoriety. Then he was picked by Babs, from what we know, Barbara Broccoli, to direct this. Let's have a look at this scene. Okay, so Lee Tamahori starts us off in an establishing shot. Prior to me pausing this scene, we're on a wide angle, the car drives up, Bond gets out, walks in it, so that's fine. Let's have a look. So establishing shot here, guys, I can guarantee you that the director of photography, David Tattersall, he's got the camera basically mounted on a track here and a dolly, and he's just moving with Bond. I love the colours. I do like the colours. I like what they've done in grading here, and to be really honest, they had a lot of issues filming this scene. I've read articles and stuff on this. I've listened to the director's commentary, and you can see, when you see the camera move again, you'll see all the waves crashing there. You'll see the wind coming in and blowing a lot of stuff. It was very overcast. They had rain and wind and everything else. So this was the best day they got, and they got to film it. But you can still see it's quite chilly, and they've had to do a little bit of, I would say, in the grade, they've boosted up the colours to make it look a bit more like a Cuban paradise. So we've got Bond walking towards frame here. It seems like it's a nice wide angle. And so far I like this. This is fine, and it matches the original scene where Bond was walking from the car, walking out in. He's coming from this area. The camera's moved with him. So far, technically, I can't fault it.
Oh, here, don't talk about. Mr. Cook, your admittance papers for the Alvarez Clinic.
So this is standard photography here in cutting, and it's good blocking. It's good blocking through. It's good angles. I like how Lee Tamahori's kept this on a wide angle. So again, so far, so good.
Tomorrow, that bloody time feeding. Now round up some more girls and take them to...
And then we've got this guy's South African accent and his acting ability, and from here, the scene just starts to go a little bit...
in full deep. Unless you want to be known as Fidel Castrata.
Now, we're on this reasonably wide angle shot, guys, and then they've gone, once they show Bond, Tamahori's changed the angle, and I can understand in a way. I know his thinking behind it. His thinking is, well, this is about Bond. This is about what Bond is seeing. So we're going to go tighter on Bond. But I don't think he needed to do that. I think it's a bit of a mix match of the composition. And I just don't think you need to go that close when it's not an overly important moment. and now we're in a wider shot. So he's gone from wide, medium shot, back to the wide, and then a close-up on that guy, or a medium close-up on that guy, and now we're back to, like, I would call this a medium wide angle shot. A lot of natural lighting coming through, but like I said before, in the grade, they've boosted up the colours and that here. You can see the reds boosted up there. It looks like a bit of a model miniature, especially this section here. Now here's where I start to have an issue with it. Bond's just been looking out here, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, guys, but Bond's been looking out here. He looks straight ahead and he sees the building, the castle, basically the genetics lab as I call it, and it's this way. Then he's looking again forward and there's no sign of that genetics lab, but to the right of Bond over there on the hill, we kind of see what looks like to be the genetics lab. So it's starting to lose kind of what's what and where things are. So nice camera dolly track here. The camera's just pushed in nicely. I like that work just as the binoculars are coming up. That's not bad. Now I will say for all the men out there, hubba, 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 who does not like this scene? Or at least this part of the scene. Now you can see the directors try to keep the angles. Once he's matched back to Bond and Jinx, he's trying to keep them very similar. The slow-mo there, I'm not a fan of the slow-mo. Have a look, let's have a look, guys. So we've got Bond in normal time here, and then we're in slow-mo. There's definitely a slowing down of the frame. Now, a part of why I think this scene is so bad and really starts to suck right from this point is she's not that far away and Bond's got binoculars. To anyone looking, right, and she spots him, she sees him, surely now he's just coming across like a creepy pervert. I mean, have a look. Now she's out of the water. So this is basically like almost a jump cut. She was in the water. She's far up out of the water. She's walking towards him. He didn't need the binoculars. And is that the island over there now? It was there. It's there. Where is the island? With the gene lab. Now she looks great. She looks stunning. Again, see, that to me looks like that's where the gene lab thing is, but apparently it's over there. This looks great. The water looks great. Again, they've boosted up these colours in post-production, and her moving towards, again, technically, this is very sound. And it's all basically, they've used obviously a lot of natural light. There will be, they use big foil sections to keep lighting out. So I would say that they're using that pretty much behind the camera section, more to the left side here. The production design, I love it. I mean, it's Cuba. I believe they did film this. Actually, I'm not 100% sure, but I thought they may have filmed it in Cuba. I will have to double check that. But it looks great. The production design and everything is really good. The costume on her looks incredible. Obviously, it's a throwback to Honey Rider, and he looks perfectly fine.
Magnificent view.
Now, I've got to admit, I do love this. So they've got her clearing frame, and then this is what's called pulling frame. So once his voice comes in, we're on her face, and then the camera takes her out of focus and focuses on Bond. So it's called basically pulling frame, or pulling focus. So we'll see it again, have a little look-see. Notice how incredibly dry she is now. She's just grabbed the towel and she's basically dry.
Magnificent view.
And I've got to say here, guys, I think James Bond looks terrible. I think Brosnan started to really age in this film. You can see all the greys. I just would have coloured those greys up, especially when he's dealing with a younger woman in the very hot Halle Berry. Yeah, and it's just making him coming across like an old pervert. So pulling focus here.
It is, isn't it?
Cutting's fine.
Too bad it's lost on everybody else.
Mojito? You should try it.
Jacinta Johnson.
Now this is arguably where the worst written dialogue for a James Bond film ever. If you can think of any worse dialogue, let us know in the comment section. You're about to hear it.
Our friends call me Jim.
And you know the thing is too, guys, David Arnold's score and this scenery is one of the best parts of this entire scene, and it's kind of let down with this shocking dialogue. And also the acting. The acting here is terrible.
My friends call me James Bond. Jinx, you say?
Born on Friday the 13th.
And you'll notice the director, when it cuts just there, the director's got her centre of frame. So Bond's on right of frame, she's on left, but not in a villainous type of way. This is just left to right, right to left, which is basically not crossing on the line. So this is done beautifully. This is fine.
Call me James Bond.
So she'll now be centre
Jinx,
frame.
you say?
So he has said her name Jinx, so they make her pretty much centre. She's still looking off to the right of frame. So that's fine. Again, the cutting on this, there's nothing wrong with the cutting and the editing on this so far. But it's the dialogue and the shot composition coming up.
Born on Friday the 13th.
You believe in bad luck?
Let's just say our relationships don't seem to last.
As far as the acting, she overpronounces her words. She's trying to be sexy. She's trying to be awesome. And I think the director should have brought this acting in.
Not the feeling.
Now, for some reason, they look over here, and this is an excuse. Bond looks over at these people. This should be in a wider shot because we've basically just come from their perspective. So these guys should have been filmed in a wider shot to show distance and that they're further away. There was no need to go this close. Yeah, it's done in a... They would have used a wide frame, I believe, on this, but still they've gone as close as they can to keep all the characters in the frame. Again, I understand why they've done it. I don't agree with it though. I would have kept these guys further back. But they've used this scene and they've used this dialogue basically only to get into filthy, dirty dialogue between Bond and Jinx to make it sexual.
Predators usually appear at sunset.
And why is that?
It's when their prey comes out to drink.
And this is a lead into their foreplay.
One for you.
I can learn to like it. If I have time.
How much time?
Now, we're in a really horrible close-up. You can just see below his chin. You can't even see the top of his hair. This is not a super important moment in the film. It's not a super important moment in the scene. There is no need to go this close up, especially when this man is aging and it's just showing him in, kind of warts and all. This is horrible. This is really horrible filmmaking right here.
We got
Until dawn.
And look at the close up on her. I mean, on a big screen at the cinema, her face is taking up the entire cinema frame, the entire screen. It's not needed. It's really overplaying dirty sexualization.
What about you?
Oh, I'm just here for the bird.
And then we cut back to this. This is how it should have been kept. It would let the audience take in the joke a bit without the joke being rammed down our throats by big close-up deliveries.
Ornithologist.
Oh boy, and here is the worst line ever in a James Bond film.
Ornithologist, huh? Wow. Now there's a mouthful.
So obviously the binoculars is the excuse, but let's be honest, she's looking straight at his balls. She's looking, straight at his man sausage. and his man sausage. And this is embarrassing. This is not going to be on her CV, and I doubt he ever wants it on his CV as far as acting performance. And I wouldn't think the writers would want this. They wouldn't be using this scene to ever get a gig. Let's have a look again, guys, at how bad that was.
How much time have you got?
Until dawn. What about you?
Oh, I'm just here for the birds. Ornithologist.
Ornithologist, huh? Wow. Now there's a mouthful.
Oh, make it stop.
So you're gonna be busy tonight with the owls then, huh?
No owls in Los Alamos. Nothing to see till the morning. Not out there, anyway.
Oh, this is so wrong. And then we're back to the close-ups. Brosnan's tongue is literally out on the floor. This is so bad.
So what do predators do when the sun goes down?
So, are they the predators? Is she implying Bond's a predator, or are those guys over there the predators? It doesn't. Now, from this point on, it doesn't even make sense.
They feast. Like there's no tomorrow.
Now, this should have been played out. If they were going to stick with that dialogue, it should have been played out in a wider shot. She should have had maybe a little laugh at it. But she's like, look at her tongues between the teeth. She's like thinking about, look, sorry guys, I got to say it, like licking some man meat. I mean, she's thinking about basically giving this guy a blowy. Come on, be honest. Look, this is terrible. Now, I debated, guys. I'm actually just going to keep this going in the background. I'm going to turn the volume down, only for the fact I debated, should I dissect this? And I'm not going to dissect this part of it. It's very quickly, it's a really bad love-making scene. We've got the typical blue light from the moon, but so many cinematographers overuse this blue lighting setup technique. And she's supposed to be naked, but we don't get to see any side naked action. It's all, this part of the frame is just completely wasted. We should be seeing more down here, but it's, oh no, don't show my boobs, don't show my boobs, that's not my contract, and they're not paying me to show my boobs. And hey, kids will probably go to see this at the cinema, so don't show a bit of boob action. And who the hell takes an apple and a knife to bed? I mean, hey, I do every night. I've got my apple, I've got my knife, I've even got oranges. Screw it, I got a big bowl of fruit. I make love to a woman, and I got a bowl of fruit, and I got a fork set, a knife set, I got the whole lot. I got one of those carving knives as well. This is terrible. And you know what? If I was them, I would have started off with that beautiful wide shot. That was about the only decent shot in that love-making scene. So guys, I think this is I thought that was a really bad scene. It's a very cringe-worthy scene. Technically, it's okay. Technically, it actually starts off really well technically, and I think the lighting and the grading they did was a good job. Costume design, production design, good. Acting, I think, was terrible. I think the direction was terrible in terms of the acting. I think the director really should have brought them in. I think the script writing was really, really bad, and I think there should have been a lot of work done on that scene before it was put into the final film. It is a terrible scene. And you know what? I've just decided right now I'm going to give these scenes a score out of 7, out of 007. And that scene is scoring, I'm going to give it a 1.5, just because she looks hot in that bikini, and they did a bang-up job with the lighting and the grade, considering the weather conditions they actually had to film that in. Guys, that's been Dissecting the Directing, James Bond meets Jinx. Let me know in the comments below what scene you'd like me to do next. Until next time, keep on bonding, say hi to your mum for me, and protect the taxi! See you guys!